Well, in a not so fun follow up to a video we did earlier today, Donald Trump has reportedly decided to nominate none other than MAGA Fox News host Judge Jeanine Pirro to be the United States Attorney for Washington, D.C. Yeah, but before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. No, folks, this is not a drill. And yes, it is that Jeanine Pirro. That one. Yes, that one. Jessica Tarlov's insane co-host on The Five, someone who is as MAGA and conspiracist as Ed Martin, who the nominee was earlier. We did the video about him, and his name was withdrawn because even Republicans were like, hell, I can't back this guy. I said there that Trump may well nominate someone just as crazy or worse. And indeed he has, somebody who is at least as bad as Ed Martin. We'll get into it, but here's the reporting broke by ABC. Trump eyeing Fox News host Jeanine Pirro for top prosecutor in D.C. Trump is strongly considering installing Fox News host and former prosecutor Jeanine Pirro as interim U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia, sources familiar with the matter told ABC News. The potential selection comes as Trump told reporters in the Oval Office Thursday that Ed Martin, who is currently serving as D.C.'s interim top prosecutor, would not be taking the position permanently after losing support among top Republicans in the Senate. An announcement about a new interim U.S. attorney could come as soon as Thursday, sources said. Sources caution that plans could always change and a decision is never final until publicly announced by Trump. The White House did not immediately respond to requests for comment from ABC News. A representative for Fox News Press Relations did not immediately respond to ABC News' request for comment, nor did Pirro. Pirro has been a longtime ally of Trump, dating back to her time as a prominent prosecutor in New York. She was an early supporter of his 2016 campaign and publicly defended him during the Access Hollywood tape scandal. That was the grab them by the you-know-what tape. Following Trump's loss in the 2020 election, Pirro pushed fake allegations of election fraud involving voting machines and was later among the Fox News employees named in the Dominion Voting Systems defamation lawsuit for broadcasting false claims about the company. Fox News eventually settled for $787.5 million and admitted the statements were false. By the way, it's the largest defamation settlement in American history. In 2019, Pirro was reportedly suspended by Fox News after she questioned the loyalty of Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar to the U.S. Constitution, citing Omar's Muslim faith. I doubt that would happen now. I'm sure she could probably do the same thing today, and she'd probably get a promotion and a raise. Martin, who had been vying to become the top prosecutor in one of the nation's most important U.S. attorney's offices, has served as the interim U.S. attorney since the start of the administration, but his interim term expires on May 20th. Martin promoted Trump's Stop the Steal campaign in 2021 and was himself seen on Capitol grounds during the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Trump said Thursday that Martin could serve in another capacity in the Department of Justice. One of Trump's final acts before leaving office in 2021 was issuing a last-minute pardon to Pirro's ex-husband, a longtime GOP donor. Well, less than an hour before his term ended, Trump granted one final pardon to Albert Pirro, who was convicted more than 2 decades ago on 34 counts of conspiracy and tax evasion after he was found to have improperly deducted over $1 million in lavish personal expenses as a tax write-off for his business. I'll also remind you that Donald Trump was convicted of 34 felony counts for falsifying business records as part of the attempt to cover up his affair with Stormy Daniels to influence the outcome of an election. So the number 34 seems to be a recurring one in the Trump administration. So yeah, you might be thinking, okay, well, that's just ABC reporting it. Well, Axios has some further corroboration. Trump is considering picking Fox News host Jeanine Pirro for interim U.S. attorney for D.C., Axios has learned hours after pulling the nomination of Ed Martin. Quote, the job is Pirro's to have if she wants it, a senior administration official told Axios. ABC first reported she was being seriously considered. In other words, as of this moment, all Pirro has to do is say yes. Trump is making the offer. Trump intends for her to have it. She just has to accept. Might she? I don't know. She's got a pretty cushy gig at Fox News. But if she becomes an interim U.S. attorney for Trump, there's nothing to say that she can't go back to it if the nomination fails, like if he doesn't nominate her to be a full U.S. attorney. So she can go right back. And this does seem to be part of a theme. Pete Hegseth, former Fox News host, now Defense Secretary Sean Duffy, former Fox News host, now Transportation Secretary. Hell, the spokesperson for the State Department, I'm blanking on her name. She's also a former Fox News host as well. And now Jeanine Pirro seems to be part of a trend. And again, I can't stress this enough. Yes, I do mean that Jeanine Pirro. Yes, the one who constantly heckles and interrupts and says crazy, unhinged shit to Jessica Tarlov, whom Jessica then has to patiently refute. Yeah, that Jeanine Pirro. I got thinking about it, and I went back to this Media Matters article because, to me, Pirro's complicity in, the 2020 election lies peddled by Trump is perhaps the most damning thing about her. It's not just that she's partisan. It's not just that she's radical. It's that she's a full-blown election denier. And Media Matters reported on this. Fox's handling of Jeanine Pirro election conspiracy theories reveals the full extent of its corruption. For a glimpse of how Fox News' utter corruption and duplicity, it's worth reviewing the sequence of events involving the network's handling of host Jeanine Pirro's program following the 2020 election, as revealed by filings in Dominion Voting Systems' $1.6 billion defamation lawsuit against Fox. Pirro's a longtime Fox backbencher and notorious font of misinformation and bigotry who hosted a pre-taped show airing on Saturday nights. She leveraged her personal friendship with Trump and the fact that he regularly watched her program to gain prominence at the network during his presidency. In the post-election period, Fox executives took Pirro off the air because they feared she promote for election fraud lies, then brought her back and let her air 2 monologues that they knew were filled with falsehoods, all while her own executive producer denigrated her privately as, quote, a reckless maniac who, quote, should never be on live television. To cap it off, they promoted her to co-host a show that airs live and now has the highest ratings in cable news. That's The Five with Jessica Tarlov. Here's how it all played out. November 6, 2020, Fox cancels Pirro's November 7th broadcast as executive says she won't report responsibly on election fraud. Fox executive David Clark, who directly oversaw her show, expressed his concern at the time that he didn't, quote, trust her to be responsible, end quote, and that if her show aired, quote, her guests are all going to say the election is being stolen, and if she pushes back at all, it will just be token. And here is screenshots from the discovery process in the Dominion case. November 12th, 7th through 12th, 2020, Fox calls the presidential election for President Biden and, amid a furious viewer backlash, begins attacking Dominion. The internal documents show that Fox feared losing market share to right-wing competitors like Newsmax as viewers turned on the network for being insufficiently supportive of Trump's fraud lies. Fox executives agreed that they needed to ensure that, quote, viewers know we hear them and respect them, and punished, quote, news side staff who aggressively fact-checked lies. Meanwhile, the network proceeded to air Dominion conspiracy theories from discredited sources like Trump lawyer Sidney Powell. November 13th, 2020, Pirro is informed about Dominion's debunking of falsehoods about the company. Pirro's executive producer, Jerry Andrews, forwarded Dominion's, quote, setting the record straight, facts and rumors email to Fox debunking various false claims that had been made about the company, including that it had been involved in the deletion or flipping of Trump votes. Pirro's response to Andrews was redacted by the court, but Andrews forwarded to Clark, commenting that she is, quote, a reckless maniac. And again, we have the slides. November 14th, 2020, Clark and Andrews reiterate to Pirro in emails that Dominion denies the allegations. Andrews told Pirro, quote, you should be very careful with this. There are things we now know that were not out there on Thursday night when these allegations first surfaced. Pirro, November 14th, 2020, evening, Pirro makes false claims about Dominion, host Powell, who spreads more falsehoods with little pushback. Pirro's show was pre-taped and aired its normal time slot. In her opening monologue, Pirro claimed the Dominion system, quote, has been tagged as one allegedly capable of flipping votes, echoing a falsehood debunked by the Dominion fact-checking memo that Andrews had forwarded to her. She also hosted Powell, who, unchecked by Pirro, offered a series of lies about Dominion. November 20th, 2020, Pirro's executive producer tells Fox executives her planned monologue is, quote, rife with conspiracy theories and shows, quote, she should never be on live television. Andrews forwarded a draft of Pirro's intended monologue for the following night to Clark and fellow Fox executive Meade Cooper, writing that Fox's internal research department, quote, is going through this now and describing it as, quote, rife with conspiracy theories and BS, and is yet another example of why this woman should never be on live television. end quote. In a separate email to Clark, he described the monologue, quote, as completely crazy, and so on and so forth. It goes on like this, folks. And that's just one example, meaning her complicity in signal boosting the lies that Trump spread about Dominion voting systems. And according to reporting, she's to be the new U.S. interim D.C. attorney. Pretty scary. She's as partisan and rabid and aggressive as Ed Martin is, and I would argue just as crazy in her own way. And the fact that she is a Fox News host adds further credibility to this because Trump loves to recruit from Fox. So again, according to Axios, the job is hers if she wants it, and all we can do is cross our fingers and hope and pray that she doesn't want it at all. But again, this idea that, well, she wouldn't want to give up her cushy Fox News job to become a temporary DC U.S. attorney, why not? She could go back to Fox News, probably get a raise as a result from it. Oh my God, not only is she a former Fox News host, she actually served in the Trump administration as DC's top prosecutor. Oh, hell yeah, we'd invite her back with open arms. It's entirely possible, folks, but we'll see what happens. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.